everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Renee and I apologize for the absence. June has been kind of busy. I've had a couple of trips with family, so I didn't really get much reading in for the month of June. But July has some exciting stuff going on, and I thought I'd come on and give you a little update of what July has in store. So if any of you are aware of Olivia from Olivia Reads a Latte or Gabby from Gabby Reads, they are hosting a Summerween. And this will be taking place, it's a readathon, July 15th through the 21st, and I'm going to participate in it. So, the Summerween is Halloween in the summer, just as the title says. So they do have 4 different book prompts for them and people that are joining to read certain books that fit certain prompts, and I thought I'd share what books I will be using for each prompt. And then they also have 8 miscellaneous prompts for Instagram, and you can find them over on their Instagram channels. I also wanted to state that for the prompts, I have a couple different books for each of the prompts just because there's so many books out there and I'm not sure what I'm going to be in the mood for, so I wanted to have a couple options for different prompts, if that makes any sense. Let's get right to the books that I will possibly be reading for my Summerween readathon. The first prompt is to read a book in the dark. So I have downloaded a couple of books on my Sora app that I'll be able to read in the dark because the screen lights up. And the first one is The Clackety. So this is The Clackety by Laura Senf. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I'm sorry, the picture is so much better. It has some oranges and blacks, and so The Clackety, let me read to you what it's about. So The Clackety is, Evie Von Roth lives in Blight Harbor, the 7th most haunted town in America. With her aunt Desdemona, I'm sorry, I am not good at pronouncing names, the local paranormal expert, Des doesn't have many rules except one: stay out of the abandoned slaughterhouse at the edge of town. But when her aunt disappears into the building, Evie goes searching for her. There she meets the Clackety, a creature who lives in the shadows and seams of the slaughterhouse. The Clackety makes a deal with Evie to help get Des back in exchange for the ghost of Johnny Jeffrey Pope, a serial killer who stalked Blight Harbor 100 years earlier. Evie must embark on a journey into a strange otherworld filled with hungry witches, penny-eyed ghosts, and a memory thief, all while being pursued by a dead man whose only goal is to add Evie to his collection of lost souls. So this is a middle grade book, and it was just released not too long ago, and everyone that I have seen that has read The Clackety has really enjoyed it. So that is my first option for the first reading prompt of reading a book in the dark. The other one is The Keeper by Guadalupe Garcia McCowell. I don't know, can you see? I'm sorry, it's very hard to see on here. But, so Did You Forget I'm Watching? This book is inspired by a terrifying true story acclaimed author Guadalupe Garcia McCall creates a twisty tale about a boy desperately trying to survive in a new town with a secret past. James always knew moving from Texas to Oregon was going to be horrible, but no sooner have he and his family arrived in their perfect new home, in their perfect new town, than he starts getting mysterious letters from someone called the Keeper, someone who claims to be watching him, someone who is looking for young blood. James and his sister Ava are obviously in danger, but the problem with having a history of playing practical jokes is that no one believes James, not even his parents. So now James and Ava need to figure out who is sending the letters before they become the next victims in their neighborhood's long history of missing children. Because one thing is clear, uncovering the truth about the Keeper is the only thing that will keep them alive. So that is also a middle grade book. I try to keep the books that I read for any readathon or any month, middle grade or YA, seeing I work in a middle grade library. So I want to keep it that way. Okay, so those are the two options for the prompt of reading a book in the dark, is either the Clackety or the Keeper. It's a hard one to choose from. So the next prompt is read a book with Halloween colors on the cover. So this one I also have two options, and the first option is Witch Wars by Sibyl Pounder. I don't know if I pronounced that correct. So this book is the first in, I'm not sure how many total there are, but I do have the second one as well. But this is about Tiga, who leads a dull life in a shed watched over by the evil Miss Hex. So when Fran, the fabulous fairy, shows up and claims Tiga is a witch, she doesn't believe her until Fran points out that Tiga is actually an anagram. So Tiga and her last name is Wickabim, which is I am a big witch, backwards. Fran whisks Tiga to Ritzy City, a wondrous place filled with magnificent clothes, extravagant shopping, and all sorts of magic. But Tiga can only stay if she enters and wins the Witch Wars, a contest to become the city's next top witch. No one expects a newcomer to be a serious contender, least of all Tiga herself, but soon she and her new best friend, Peggy Pigwiggle, are at the head of the pack. Does one of them have what it takes to win, or will Tiga have to say goodbye to this glamorous life? So this is one of the options. The other option for a book with Halloween covers is Hide and Seeker by Daka Herman. This book says, Justin knows that something is wrong with his best friend. I went up the hill. Z went missing for a year, and when he came back, he was different. Nobody knows what happened to him. The hill was muddy. At Z's welcome home party, Justin and the neighborhood crew play hide and seek, but it goes wrong, very wrong. Stopped my toe. One by one, everyone plays the game, disappears. Pulled into a world of nightmares come to life and made it bloody. Justin and his friends realize this horrible place is where Z had been trapped. All they can do now is hide from the seeker. Should I wash it? It's kind of like a creepy little inside cover. So this is an option. So those are my two options for the prompt of read a book with Halloween colors on the cover. The next book prompt is read a slasher. So this one I went with, let's see here, my shelf, okay, got it. So for read a slasher, I found a couple of YA books on Sora. So the first one is Horror Hotel. So Horror Hotel, and it is by Victoria Fulton and Faith McLaren. So this is a YA horror, and it says, when the YouTube famous ghost gang Chrissy, Chase, Emma, and Kiki visit a haunted LA hotel notorious for tragedy to secretly film after dark, they expect it to be just like their previous paranormal huntings, spooky enough to attract subscribers and ultimately harmless. But when they stumble upon something unexpected in the former room of a gruesome serial killer, they quickly realize that they're in over their heads. Sometimes it's the dead who need our help, and the living we should fear. So that is my first option. The other option for this prompt is called The Woods Are Always Watching by Stephanie Perkins. And this book says, bears aren't the only predators in these woods. Best friends Nina and Josie spent high school as outsiders, but at least they had each other. Now, with college and 2,000 miles separation looming on the horizon, they have one less chance to be together. A 3-day hike deep into the woods of the Pisgah National Forest. Simmering tensions lead to a detour off the trail and straight into a waking nightmare, and then into something far worse, something that will test them in horrifying ways. So that one seems interesting as well. So those were my two options to read a slasher book. Then there is the prompt of read a book with the word haunt in the title. This one, I only found one option in my library or on Sora, so I'm just gonna go with it. It is a middle grade book, and it is called The Haunting by Lindsay Duga. So the synopsis here is, the only life 12-year-old Emily has ever known is the cold, unloved existence of being an orphan. But everything changes when the Thorntons, a young couple from London, adopt Emily, whisking her away to a new life at their grand estate. At first, life at Blackthorn Manor is wonderful. But as Emily explores the grounds and rooms, she stumbles upon a mysterious girl named Kat, who appears to be similar in age, and the two become fast friends. That's when things take a turn for the worse. Kat seems to know a curious amount about the estate, and strange things happen whenever she's around. In one case, Emily narrowly avoids getting toppled by a bookcase in the library. In another, the fire erupts in the fireplace, nearly burning Emily's hands. It's almost as if someone or something wants Emily dead. Emily must find out what happened to the Thorntons and, more important, how Kat is connected to these strange goings-on at Blackthorn Manor before it's too late. So that is the one book that I have to fulfill the prompt of read a book with haunt in the title. So I will also link the announcement videos from Olivia Reads a Latte and Gabby from Gabby Reads in the description box below. So those are my options for participating in the Summerween Readathon for summer of 2022. So I invite all of you to participate as well. After the Readathon, I will be posting a video of all my July reads because I have read some already. And then I will have a specific area with the Summerween books and what I thought of them. So, and I also plan on recording during the readathon, so I will have that video as well. Well, thanks for stopping in, and I will see you in the next video.